Hi all. Right, turn 18, just about to start. Just putting that video together the previous time. It was 1 hour and 40 something minutes. Maybe an hour and 49 minutes. So it's a wee bit longer than I'd like. But it was just difficult to kind of split up really, yeah. But maybe this will be better because we'll not be going over things. No guarantees. Okay. Well, nothing to talk about because I've just came straight back as well, so that's good. We have 1 unit to land, turn 18. No other units to come in. There is stuff on 19. We get some infantry units on turn 19 and turn 20. So, yeah, let's get. You know what? I'm not actually looking at this flip book again, so I don't know. I'm just going to put it away at the side for the minute. I need to be careful though, because I don't want to. This is me jumping in. I played a whole turn there. It was my first turn of the extended game, so fingers crossed there's nothing. I mean, I picked up couple of little mistake, well, one little mistake and one misplacement of my HQ unit. Probably a lot of strategic mistakes. I enjoyed the action phase there. I did. Whether I've done everything perfectly or not, I'm sure not. And I've got to remember just that when the event happens, when the fire cards happen, just try and relax, breathe deeply, and just take what you're given. I don't want blue firing over here. But yeah. Okay. Right, hang on. We're going to land this unit. And of course, we did not place this in a place that was going to land clear of mines, did we? No, we didn't do that. So A, it's delayed 3 turns. B, it's I think the 22. What happens after that then? Oh, it's like all hexes are cleared anyway after that. Right, well that's turn 22 or 23 or something. We'll get to that. Right, ideally we want C. We want a triangle C, but with no mines as well. Okay, so we've just got this 1 unit landing anyway, so none in the east. So let's draw the card and see what we get. Right, no mines, good. Triangle with an A. Oh, at least we get to put it back and then try and place it in a better place next turn. Well, I suppose B would have been worse, isn't it? B is the one that's it's no coming back at all, is it? So A is delayed 3 turns. Yeah. Okay, so we might see it again on turn 21. Right, first event card. Well, they went well last turn. You have to say that. Well, the first one had a bit of bad and a bit of good, and the second one had all good. So, although you're still shaking your head at me putting that hero in the ranger, aren't you? Okay, event turn 18. Here we go. What we got? I can't see that. Zoom in. Oh, well, it might not. Oh yeah, I thought I was reading that wrong. Yeah, GI initiative, conduct 1 extra action this turn in each division. Well, you know what? We might not need it, but I'll tell you what, it's still a plus rather than a minus, isn't it? So we do actually have 4 action markers, so I'm going to put them out. Yeah, I'll take it. Absolutely. So now there we are. We've got 4 action markers on each side. I'll need to remember and adjust that when the turn finishes, but I'm sure I'll remember that one. Right, so fire and ace, Grant. Okay, big breath. Try and, whoops, I'm zooming out there. Right, where do I put the card? Probably up there somewhere. Because it's at the bottom of the card that we need to look, isn't it? Right, okay, so fire in the east. Here we go. It's quite far out the way there, but all the units are up over that side anyway. No artillery, that's good. Double purple with a P, double blue with an A, single green with an R. All sounds horrible, doesn't it? Right. Open your book, Grant. Double purple. But right, now hang on. What is the symbol? The letters, unoccupied letters are A and R. Oh dear. Right, we've got two of them. Is that right? R for reoccupy and reinforce, and A for ambush. Ooh. Okay, and the fact that it's double does not matter, because obviously it's not going to be an occupying the hex. Right, so double purple. So that is a occupied thing. We need to have something in double purple. Yeah, right, okay. Get my head around it now. Nothing, 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 nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Okay. Right. This looks good again. Yeah. Right, okay. Well, we'll see. Oh, it's artillery fire, is it? Right, right. Okay, so there's no double purple. Like I say, it needs to be occupied for the P action. Yeah. Yeah, and the armour, right, the armour doesn't, we don't need to worry about the armour until we draw the second event card, and the only way it can come into play if it reinforces, then we need to look at it. Okay, so there's nothing in double purple, so double blue, but we do need to look at empty blue positions for the possibility of ambush, but it's got to be an empty blue position within 2. So this one up here is 1, 2, 3 away actually, so that's fine. Let's go move the card. Well, we've got one. There's one here. There's no units. Yeah. I'm guessing it does not need to be in communication. 16.9. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe the ambush one doesn't. Oh no, it does. It still needs to be in German communication. It's just my thinking of, remember I was talking about maybe moving this unit away. Well, obviously if this position was in communication, it would have ambushed. Yeah, so the only other blue positions here. So there's no empty ones that can do the ambush. Right, this is occupied and it's double blue. Now, oh, but we do have a unit in the field of fire, and it's a circle. This is oops, he's flipped. This is a great fire card. It's setting me up. It's going to just do one to me on the other side, isn't it? Definitely. Was he there? I think so. Yeah. So yeah, we have units in blue field of fire, so I think that means it just fires. So it's a WN position, and it has units in its field of fire. So yeah, it just fires, and it does not hit, which is better than if it didn't have units in its field of fire, then we would have artillery fire. Oh no, we wouldn't, because blue does not have artillery. It's the same situation. Okay, and, ooh, right, I forgot, there's one more to come, green. Okay. Oh, I think that's going to be okay as well, isn't it? Right, so green with an R, so we do need to look at empty green positions. Right, there's nothing, there's one away up there, but That's fine. So coming along, left to right. Okay, this is the first one we come to. Well, it is occupied. So reinforcement position, occupied. US units in field of fire. Well, that's a no. Oh, no, that green's coming from there. Right, okay. So that's a no. No US units in field of fire. Oh, redeploy. Okay. So, right, check 16.3 to see if units move to a new position. Okay. Is that a victory point position? Yeah, it is. So 16.3 says... Oh, let me shimmy along there a bit. Oops. Eligible position, occupied reinforcement position in German communication. Yep. With no US units in field of fire, yeah. The German unit in position redeploys if an unoccupied reinforcement position in the same sector has US units in its field of fire and is in German communication. Oh dear God. If these conditions are met, move the unit and its depth marker, if any, to the empty reinforcement position. If these conditions are not met, the position conducts no action. If more than one empty reinforcement position meets the requirements, move to a VP position, then to the lower number position, then to the position with more US strength points in its field of fire. A position with no ID number is considered to be numbered 0 for this purpose. A German unit in a VP position may only redeploy to another VP position if no such position is available. Do not redeploy from a VP position. A German unit that redeploys does not fire. Well, that's good. In the rare event that two German units would redeploy to the same position, the unit in the higher... And then, if a unit with a mobile depth marker redeploys to a position with buildings, then you swap over depth markers if you can. Right. Okay. So his first thoughts are to go to a position that I've got US units in its field of fire. So I was looking at this initially, but don't think Brown doesn't fire in because we looked at that. So that's a no. And it's got to be able to trace communication, surely. German unit position redeploys. And is in German communication. Yeah, so like putting it here, he would not be able to trace communication. So that is right, and he can trace in there, but he can't trace there or there. Yeah, that's fine. So, what about that purple? No, that doesn't fire anywhere. Okay. I think we're maybe getting away with this, aren't we? Yeah, I don't think we've got any empty positions that I've got field of fire. I mean, this doesn't fire into here. The brown's closest there, but it doesn't fire into. We can't go there. None of these are... This one could have been a concern, but it just fires in the hexes just round about it. And then, well, we've no units in here, so... Yeah, we've planned it so carefully that is a null event, I think. I think so. So, a German unit in the position redeploys if an unoccupied reinforcement position in the same sector has US units in its field of fire and is in German communication. Well, that's not the case. So, if these conditions are not met, the position conducts no action. How about that, guys? Wow, that's two good fire cars we've had in the East. But I mean, Yeah, we seem sort of solid in the east, and I'm just waiting on it all going wrong, like, but so nothing doing for that guy. Now do we? Oh, wait a minute. No, that's okay. Well, this is empty, but it's because it. Actually, what side is that on? Yeah, it is on this side. The screen position, but 1, 2, 3. Ooh, well, there you go. There's a downside to me placing that unit in there. We're going to be within 2 of that. Well, I mean, you know what? That's fine. It doesn't fire into there. The brown fires into there. And I'd be more concerned about a unit reinforcing in there, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't think the Germans are doing nothing there. No. Double purple. With a patrol action, maybe. But it's not. Yeah, because we didn't have double purple. It was occupied. Double blue. Or unoccupied blue, but... And then green. That unit couldn't redeploy. And then there's no empty green. The only other one here is here. And that is the situation that we were in with the redeploy, because it's a WM position. It would try and... sorry, not redeploy, reoccupy. But because it's a 2x position, this is not unoccupied. So that doesn't work. Jolly good. Right. Right, more of that in the west then, and we're golden. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to go as smooth across this side. Right, and yeah, I've got a colour in my head I know we don't want, which is blue, so it's stuck in my head now. Right, here we go. Fire in the west. Right. Okay, it's not blue. That's good. Although there's an A and there's an R. What was the other colour I was purple, yeah. There's no purple either. It was just for that little unit there, maybe hopefully getting into that. Double brown hitting leaders. Okay. Right, so, well, again, the A and the R can be unoccupied and be able to do something. So let's look at the orange then. And there was nothing disrupted across there that needed to be undisrupted, so... right, double orange. Well, this is unoccupied, but not within 2... so I'm going to have to shimmy the card a little bit, I think. This is occupied, but not a... Oh, right. I'll need to remember that one that we found. Fortunately, we found that on the first turn. What was it? The resupply. Yeah, we'll need to watch that one. So if you get a single... no, if it was a double R and you look and you say, oh, like, you say that was a double, you know, I had the double with the R, and I'd look at that and say, oh, right, I don't need to look at that. Well, that's not the case, because that could maybe resupply. That's what we've got to try and get that in your head. Oh, right. Well, let's get by this guy. No. Well, he doesn't fire into there. He's a WM position then. So, but he's occupied. But he's the first one to come to, as if we're going with, left to right. So he is... yeah, if he's not got any US units in his field of fire, it just doesn't do nothing because he's WN. Right, and he doesn't have. Right, that's fine. So this guy is on his own. So occupied with no... I want to say it's no US units. Yeah, this is firing from this red position, which is disrupted at the moment anyway. Yeah, let's see, this is what we... don't want, is it? So he's not got any units in his field of fire. Alright, that's a redeploy as well then. Okay. Okay, that could be nasty then. Well, actually, I was looking up here thinking of this, but this is in the other sector, this purple position. You've got to think something else could happen there, though bad. Right, so it's the same one as we're looking at, redeploy. Is he in a victory point hex? Yes, he is. So he's got to move to another victory point hex. So he's looking for another reinforcement position that has US units in its field of fire. Like I've just pointed, it has to be in that sector, doesn't it? It says the same sector, and this, fortunately, is in the other sector. Not that that might get me out of everything. This is not firing into anything either, though. This could be. No, it's not. Sorry, I know I'm probably off now. I'm away along here. This doesn't fire into anything either. Oh, here we go. Here we go. And there you have it. Yeah. There's trouble. I hadn't even thought about redeploy then. Did I, when I was talking about this, maybe I guess reinforcing or ambush. I think I mentioned ambush, didn't I? Fires in here as well. With what? A triangle. Oh, no. This looks horrible. It just shows you everything was sweet there. It was all nice and strolling along. No harm done. Is that right? Okay, so hang on, I've lost where we are here. We're on the R red action. We're looking at this unit, right? He has no US units in his field of fire. That's correct. So he wants to try and redeploy. 16.3, okay. Redeploys if an unoccupied reinforcement position in the same sector has US units in its field of fire and is in German communication. Yeah, that R action is probably the worst, isn't it? Redeploy, reoccupy to an extent, reinforce, and even resupply is kind of horrible. If these conditions are met, move the unit and its depth marker, if any, to the empty reinforcement position. Oh no, he doesn't fire, does he? Oh, relief. Okay, yeah, he's not going to fire. And a German unit in a VP position may only redeploy to another VP position. Yeah, and like I say, he was in one, but this is also a VP position anyway. Yeah, I was thinking he's firing, so we're okay there. Now, is there any other possible hexes in? So this one does not. No. This one does, and like I say, it's in communication, sadly. This green does not. Yeah, I think that's only one. I tell you what, there's a good in that as well. There is a good. I mean, our next move is moving this unit up into here, which is in this steady red fire. Admittedly, this is going to undisrupt, but we can hopefully barrage it again. Yeah. So there's not more than one position that meets the requirement. That's only position. Move the unit and its depth marker any to the empty room. Yeah, so this guy's going to get up and he's moving out of there and he's going to come down into here. And now, oh, he fires into there as well, which is annoying. And obviously into here, yeah, he's going to be a burden, that's for sure. Because, yeah, doesn't. I mean, I'm saying he's not firing this turn, but the fact that he might fire next turn's bad enough, really, isn't it? Because we're all tied up with what we're doing down here, so. Excuse me. Right, and by the way, I'm going to. Oh, I almost flipped that, didn't I? I didn't see it though. I didn't see it. What I was wanting to do was place it like that because I don't want to get... That's moved. It's had an action, if you like. Okay. Right, so... Yeah, this could be quite interesting because there's nothing else. There's a red position there that's unoccupied. This is going to undisrupt. Fair enough. Well, up there's doing none. But this guy here... Now, he's in the same position though, isn't he? He's not got... Yeah, he's not got US units in his field of fire. So he actually wants to try and redeploy as well. But my guess is there's no hex for him to go to. That's right, isn't it? He doesn't fire into there, or as we've just looked into there. Yeah, so he wants to... He's in a VP hex as well. He wants to try and redeploy as well, but he's got nowhere to go. Oh, wait a minute. No. This isn't brown that fires into there, admittedly, but... No. No, that's fine. Yeah, so I don't think he can redeploy anywhere. Okay, that's fine. Right, double brown star. Right, so it's just occupied double brown positions, and I don't think we have any, which is good. And it would shoot, and it would hit leaders. No. Was that terrible? I don't think it was it? Right, hang on, Grant, hang on. Hang on, you've jumped the gun, surely. Because we've got an orange A, and I talked about the ambush action down here. How have I missed that? How have I missed that? So, right, let me rewind then. So this guy's gone back to where he was for the moment. So yeah, so going back to the first letter. And here's another... This is another case of this though, isn't it? I mean, if I wanted to say... And please correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think it ever tells you that you need to carry out the actions left to right on the card. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to wangle myself out of something here, but I mean, I'm not. I want to play it right. Like, you know, I'm not. It looks like it might be horrible. Okay. So, I've obviously missed this, but I mean, I accidentally missed it. I'm not trying to miss it so that I can manipulate what I'm looking at here, because if I do, well, hang on. Let's look at the double A, right? This is not a double A, it's occupied. However, if you've got an unoccupied A, where are we? In German communication within 2 hexes of a US unit. Well, this is, okay? Then there's an ambush. So 16.9 would tell you unoccupied reinforcement position in German communication, which it is, and US unit in its field of fire. And you use the ambush column, and because this guy is in intense field of fire, he's going to take a hit. Oh no, it needs a symbol. Oh, he's got the symbol though. He's going to be disrupted. Because the ambush is... Right, hang on. Right, okay, sorry, I got taken away there. Yeah, so... Yeah, the ambush, it's on the German fire chart. Yeah, so if it was in intense fire and had the symbol, it would take a step loss. If it's in sporadic or steady fire and had the symbol, it would be disrupted. So that ambush, if this ambush does occur, then it is going to disrupt our hero, which is not nice, but I'll tell you something. There's no purple or blue on that card, so these guys are staying disrupted. Did we say we could take... No, we couldn't, yeah. But we might be able to have a go at that, maybe, with help from others. That's Bangalore's missing. Right, anyway, I'm going places that need to be left for a while. So, yeah, we're going to have to sort this problem out, though. Now, I have uploaded that video, have I? Yes. So, there is a chance somebody might have watched it yet. It's not been up for long, mind you. We're going to have to resolve this because, and you probably can see what I'm talking about, I just didn't notice that position, so I would do that in that order. But let's say I can choose the order. If I can choose the order, right, I'll redeploy this unit to here because it's got US units in the field of fire. This is going to happen after the ambush anyway, right? So I'll redeploy that unit there. If I do it red first, now I do the orange action, right? And I know this looks gamey, but we need to we need to sort this one out, really. I then do the double orange A action, and this hex is not unoccupied anymore, so there's no ambush occurs. And so if I do it that way, it benefits me because this guy does not get disrupted. And this unit's still moving no matter what. So, I mean, it feels to me, usually if you've got decisions within these games like that, it doesn't benefit you. You get hit. But I do need to... we need to move on with this. We already had the question with artillery. Okay, it ended up not being an artillery position, but I do need to know in what order I need to carry out these actions. So we might have to be stopping for a bit, although I probably do need to hit things on the head. It's a pity though, because we're right at the end of the action, the German fire phase, which I would have been happy to stop at. Well, I guess I'm going to just have to pause it there. We're only 35 minutes in. And maybe we can come back, do the event, do the engineer phase, and then that can be an episode, and then another episode for the US action phase, maybe, because it might start to be stretching. Yeah, I'm going to have to go and post a question if nobody has commented on what I'd asked before. There must be something about this, because, yeah, there must be. Not that I can see in the rulebook, though, that's the thing. Of course, I could well just be missing it, but I did I did read right through all the extended rules. I mean, admittedly, I only got to US combat actions, which is rule number 8, and then I jumped onto the extended game. But none of their rules would look like they would discuss anything like that anyway. You would think it would be in the extended game rules regarding German fire cards and actions, lettered actions and whatever. So, right, hang on a sec. Yeah, I think I've read over this before. It says you may check the positions within a sector in any order you wish. To make sure you miss no positions, a methodical approach is suggested, such as checking from left to right. Well, checking the units from left to right, but that feels wrong. Something feels wrong about that, because I've just showed you, well, in that first turn, in turn 17, I showed, okay, it wasn't an armoured, it wasn't an artillery position, but if it had been, I could have manipulated it in a way to benefit me. And here, I can manipulate that. And when I say manipulate, that could be the wrong word. It could be giving you that option to do that. And it doesn't seem to say, that their words right there. If, no. You may check the positions within a sector in any order you wish. And it doesn't say that you've got to check the colours in the order they're laid out on the card. So this is what we need to find out. I'm going to go and have a look, just in case there's any comments, and I'm going to have to post this question. And I do need to take a break anyway, guys. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll just cut this episode in case, just to see where we stand. Okay, so cheers for now. Hi all. Right, a few things to talk about. So we left things with this confusion about what order are we trying to carry these actions out. That's what it comes down to. Now, first of all, let me read, and I'm not sure how I left this, and if I had looked at this, it's on the following page. So this is talking about how German positions perform their actions, and it does. And this is within 16, Rule 16. Yeah, and then, I've read the part, you may check the positions within a sector in any order you wish. Okay, so that means that I could look at the brown first and look across here, or I could start here, look in the middle, or whatever, and then I could move to the orange. I can do them in any. That's what that says. To make sure you miss no positions, a methodical approach is suggested, such as checking occupied positions in one sector from left to right, then unoccupied positions. Okay, I've read all that a few times. So it does kind of leave you with that. Now, however, you turn over the page, and there's one last part, 216, which I'm thinking I missed out talking about. Now, I have seen this before. And I'll get around to that. Let me read it, and it is marked in my rule book as a new section. It was, excuse me, I think probably from version 1 of the rule book, version 2, and it's got wee paragraph at the side where it says there's a change to the rule, or it's a new rule that's come in. Just to, as things come along, sort of a errata comes into it, and they fix things. So this is marked new, and it's called sequencing actions. Yeah, hang on a sec. Right, I got dragged away there. Okay, so I was reading Yeah, 16. We're talking about actions, and this is right at the beginning before it talks about any of the actual individual actions. And like I say, when you turn the page, there's a little part, but just before I get to that little part, I noticed it says, see the cover rules sections for examples of German action determination. Okay, and I'm thinking, yeah, we do have a colour booklet somewhere, don't we? And I kind of forgot all about that and wondered where it was, and here it was, hiding under a pile of stuff. So there's the first German action determination, example 1. And just to show you, over there, look, German armour fields of fire. So that's the diagram I was telling you about that was shown in the rulebook that I had online, but it's not in my rulebook. So whether they built it into the rulebook or... so I do have that, so that's handy. So anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now. So yeah, I just wanted to show you a couple of these, and I've not studied them. I mean, yeah, we could have a... What's going on there? Things are shaking about there. Hope that's not coming through as anything. Looks like it's all... Is it just because it's the white paper? It must be... It's showing all flickery on my camera, but it's maybe one of these things that doesn't show up once it's recorded. Anyway, so there's German action determination example 1. Should we have a look at this? I know going through all this is going to just make things even longer, Grant, isn't it? Right, in this illustration showing part of the east sector, assume that you've drawn the German fire card on the left. Red A, purple R and blue M. You check German positions both occupied and unoccupied with the colours red, purple and blue, referring to the German action summary to determine what action each performs, going from left to right on the map. Okay, so that's fair enough. So then the first step it takes is look at the purple WN position. Well, if you look on the map here, their example, there's green, there's brown. So the first colour that comes to them is purple. So they're not particularly looking at how I would do it. I would look at red. I would go left to right looking at all the red positions, then the purple. So they're not actually doing that. So they're not, technically they're not looking at the red action first. They're looking at whatever unit comes first. Which also tells me that there isn't any order in what and how to do this. So, so purple WN action R, right, I'm not going to go into what they all do. I might have a read about it myself later on though, just in case something does come out. So they do the action with that purple, and then they've got a purple reinforcement position A4, which is empty, so that's the next one in line as well. Then it jumps to the blue, so we're going purple, blue, we're obviously not looking at these in that sequence, we're looking at whatever comes in the map. Well, that's fair enough. That says that gives you that recommendation of how to do it. So it actually does them in order, purple first, blue, and then red on that card. And then across here, this is example 2. Like I say, I've not read what it's all doing. I might well do that though. I might well read that. I don't want to go through that ways. And again, it's showing purple, blue, and brown on the card. Well, they do brown first, then purple, and then blue. So, no, they do brown, reinforcement position, purple WM position, purple reinforcement position, then they come back to blue reinforcement position, and then brown reinforcement position. So, they're doing it as it's set out in the map. So, which tells me that you can do them in any order you choose. Right, so I'll come back to that. But, however, the one thing that we kind of missed, and I don't think I brought this to attention in that last part of the video. I've not watched it back yet. It is possible I did discuss it, but I don't think I did. Here it is, and it's on the next page. Sequencing actions. In the rare event that the sequencing of German actions affects play, conduct the action for the higher numbered position first. If the same number, conduct the action for the higher letter position first. For example, if 2 positions are eligible to perform the reinforced action and only 1 reinforced unit is available, the higher numbered position would receive the reinforcement. So there you go, and that's the only rule that would decide in which order you might want to do some actions. So I sent a wee email to Martin asking his, because what I did find when I first looked on BGG was a post made back in April of 2019, April the 19th, 2019, from Grant Lang, from me, saying, hi all, I have a feeling this, whether that will show up or not, I have a feeling this may have been asked and resolved before, but can't find anything. I follow the fire card, checking the colours and symbols from left to right on the card, and left to right within the sector. That's how I do it. Within the procedures in 16, it states, you may check the positions within a sector in any order you wish. Okay, so this is me back then. I've had this problem. Situation. So my situation is, in the German fire phase, I lose a one-step unit to mortar fire, which is in a WN position. My next symbol is an R, which will now allow the reoccupy action in this WN position. If I apply the R action first, however, it will not do anything, and then apply the mortar action to destroy the one-step unit. My question is this allowed? Cheating? Abusing the system? Because, yeah, so it's myself that's had this question back, and I don't know, it might just be me that like delves too deep into these situations to find out. I get the feeling, like I say, Tarawa and Pelelu have a more structured way of going through the actions. I could be wrong about that. It could be very similar. I just got this feeling that they might have done it differently. So I got a couple of responses. Unless I'm misunderstanding, the next symbol applies to a different colour, correct? You can't have two different actions. Yeah, he's not quite grasping my question. I think I have to... But Martin replied, unlike the other game in the series... Oh, well, there you go. Unlike the other game in the series, there's no rule in D-Day at Omaha Beach that says you have to check colour symbols in the order they appear on the card. So it must be that Tarawa and Pel, although this is only other game, unless he's just missed out games, they must have a more structured way of doing it. So he says, so in theory, you could resolve reoccupy before mortar fire, regardless of their order. It's hardly cheating, but rather against the spirit of the game, which is to annihilate you. And then I'd give a bigger description. However, then Nico replies, he says, the rules I have include the following at the very end of Rule 16, sequencing actions. This is what I've just read to you. So I'll not read it again. He says, which version of the rules are you using? Mine say 2.0. And admittedly, like I said to you, this does show a new, but it is in my rulebook. So it could be that it's not in. And then I've responded to Nico. Yeah, I did see this in the rules. I have also, Nico. Yeah, I've got in the rules. I think at first I read it to mean something slightly different to my situation, but then it does state in the rare event that sequencing actions affects play, conduct the action for the higher number position first, which does seem to apply to my situation, I think. Then I carry on. However, my positions are a WN and a reinforcement position. So you've got WN 73 and G1. But I guess you could still argue that WN 73 being the highest number wins, I suppose. Something feels off about this, however. If, however, this is correct way to rule it, then I get the result that stops the WN from respawning. So basically that situation there, if we're going to go by highest number, and you know, is the rulebook thinking about this when it says highest number, when you've got WN positions that are all going to be higher than reinforcement positions? I mean, reinforcement positions only go up to 9, I think. Oh no, that's a lie. I see an 11. So, but the lowest WN position is 60. So, but I guess you can only take from the rules that 60 is clearly higher than 11. So you would do that action first. Maybe it is built to be based to deal with WN positions first. You know, when it says highest number first, maybe that's what the intent is. And then I've came back finally saying, actually, after sweeping on this, I realised that the WN position isn't available for consideration until the position is empty. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. It looks like I maybe got it wrong in the end. For example, if two positions are eligible to perform the reinforced action, only one reinforcement unit is available. The higher number position will receive the reinforcement. Hang on. Yeah, I think what I come to with my example is actually after sleeping on this, I realised that WM position isn't available for consideration until the position is empty. Whereas the example they give is for example, but then that's only an example, Grant. Maybe, I could still have looked at that situation and said, right, what is the highest number? That is the action I carry out first. I mean, although like I say, that example was shown. Yeah, I'm saying that not sure my situation applies. And then I settle with when there is no confirmation on how it should be played, I always end up going with the most detrimental to the good guys. So I will place a WN unit in the position and suffer the consequences. Well, so I kind of got left with that one. Still not really completely sure about it. However, I sent Martin an email. Hang on. Yeah, and I was asking Martin when I realised the BGG search that I found that post from back in 2019 that I'd asked a question myself and he had answered with something. So, and then I've said that my question, similar situations come up twice. Well, he actually responded to the video. Well, maybe we should mention that first. He actually responded to the video that had the situation with the, if this had been artillery fire, would it have fired here first? Disrupted, could I done it in that order? Now he came up with a good one which I liked, and I think I had just spoke about it actually. He says, well, he initially worded it, it's the state at the beginning of the fire phase that matters. Now he's since reworded that because he believes that this sequencing actions should be considered. So I think he reworded it to say, I would have looked at the state at the beginning of the fire phase and not fired artillery if it had indeed been an artillery position, which, okay, we know it's not, but it was just like, what if? But then he says, however, it seems the sequencing rule says otherwise, so I suggest you go with that for the time being. So he's suggesting us to go with that. And to be honest, it's the only thing in the rules that kind of gives you something to kind of go with. So, well, in that situation, what would it have been? What were we doing? Red was firing, blue wanted to maybe do artillery fire. So the order would have been, this guy doing it first. I kind of liked your answer though, Martin. I kind of liked, let's look at, the state of play at the moment. Is there a unit in this blue's field of fire? Okay, there is, right. He cannot then move on to the artillery action. But, no, again, you've got to, sequencing actions say that would change the effect of things, but if you're following the sequencing action, this is the highest number. It would have fired, took this out. Then we look at the blue position and we say, is anything in blue's field of fire? No. Right, then we do artillery. So I think I'm going to have to go with that. However, it's not going to cover every situation. So I basically posted Martin the question and then I glanced back over the BGG response that he gave me. And he was basically saying that it isn't in the spirit of the game, And he's right, and I think that if we came down to it and Mr. Butterfield said, this is how you do it, it would be to help the game. It would always be in the AI's favour. So, however, there's a mix of that and this sequencing action. So, well, that turns out that would be in the AI's favour to do it that way. And it was following the sequencing action. But if it had been the other way about, what would I have done? Would that override that? Well, I don't think I would. I think what I'm going to do is probably stick with that sequencing action. So yeah, so I emailed Martin back just before he replied, just saying, look, forget about that. I think, but then he did come back. Yeah, I should have known you'd come up with another set of unusual situations. Why not make things easy like the rest of us? He says it's a tricky question. In the thread you refer to, Nico has given the best answer, which is that the rules to start with the highest number position. And yeah, Martin, I remember you saying that as well about the highest number position when it comes to certain things. You said that a while back. It's probably a comment on the YouTube videos somewhere as well. When I was asking something. Uh, yeah, you definitely did say that. So I think he says that said, you've proved that there are situations where it's questionable for the sequencing rule is fully applicable. For instance, like in your video, if the first action would be to eliminate a unit, does the next position now act as if it has no unit? It assumes that the events in a phase are not simultaneous. Yeah, he's got a point there, which seems to go against the core mechanic in all three games. And then he gives a good example here. If you look at a concentrated target, for example, it's still considered such even if it's below 5 steps after one position fires once. Then he says, then again, the advance action always happens last, regardless of position. So I think we're in that wee space where we're not 100% sure about it all. What he's just said there was sequencing, going by sequencing, this would have fired, took this unit out, then this unit wouldn't have had any units in its field of fire. But we're still in the same phase there. Surely that unit should have had a unit in its field of fire when we started the phase. And it's tricky. But I guess he finishes, he says, regarding the example you mentioned in this email, which is the one that we're talking about back up here on the card, which I can't even remember what it is yet, but we'll get around to that. He says it's easier to refer to the sequencing rule. So highest position acts first. It's when firing and eliminating units I have a harder time. Despite what I said above, it's probably easiest and most according to the rules as written to always follow that sequencing rule. I'm pretty sure it will ultimately be to your detriment, which after all seems to be the purpose of the game. So then he says he was away back amending the reply. I got another email from him saying he'd be losing sleep over thinking about it. But he says the more I think about it, the more convinced I am that when it matters, you should always start with the highest number position, and it'll be to your disadvantage the majority of the time, which is consistent with how the game should be played. So we're going to go with that. You never know; you might tuck that one away till he's got a few questions to maybe pester Mr. Butterfield on his hotline again. I replied, sorry to have disturbed your sleep. I was saying I did like his first response about the state of play, but the only rules as written seem to be the sequencing rules, so I think we're going to go with that. And what I'm going to do is, if the sequencing rule can't cover what we're trying to do, I'm going to just play it as the game. I'm going to say, look, what would the game do? What if you were the Germans right now? What would you do? And it's going to be quite clear, because if it came down to it in this position, well, we're going to say, yeah, okay, this unit gets taken out. Then this guy's no units in his field of fire, so he can artillery fire. So okay, right then. So sorry to any of you that don't really want to hear any of that, but it's, again, all these things are for me, as well as anybody else that's interested. But it's to keep me. I like everything by the book, and as you will know if you've watched any of the stuff that I've done. So, well, where are we at then? Right, let's see if I can get myself back on track here. Okay, and before I do, there's always something. Martin picked up another error that I had made, not spotted, and that was like 2 errors in the one fire phase, which is concerning. The first fire phase. Now, I caught the first one, but it was after the fact, and it was a unit that was climbing that should have been hit from this red fire, and, well, it was just a disruption hit. However, over here, when this red fired, he was firing with, at the time he had a depth marker 2. He had 4 hits to dish out. He destroyed the tank. He reduced this unit from full strength. That was the unit that was there. And then he had 2 more hits to dish out, but we chose to look at the sporadic hexes down here. However, this little unit here was in steady fire and actually has a circle, and that's what was on the card. So in actual fact, he should have been destroyed, and he should have been the first hit to take because he was closest to the unit. So he should have been hit first for the first hit. Then the second hit should have been the infantry with 3 steps, that was 2 away. Then the third hit should have been the tank, which was only 1 step, which was 2 away. And then the fourth hit should have disrupted one of these units. So in actual fact, we would have ended up with only 1 disrupted unit, and this guy is gone. Now, I had hoped that I could maybe have rewound a little bit, found the unit that I disrupted and moved it, because the annoying thing that I had was I couldn't move this anti-aircraft unit into here because the stat was full, and because this unit underneath had been disrupted from that fire. Now, I would have liked to have went back and said, right, okay, that unit wasn't disrupted, let's move them on somewhere else, and let's leave space, and then have a free action to move the anti-aircraft along. I guess you probably would say that that's okay, that's fine, because that's what you would have done if you'd realised a mistake, but I kind of feel like we've just moved that a wee bit too far on. If I had caught it before I had started this fire phase, which we're in right now, then I possibly would have allowed myself to have got away with that, but I'm just going to have to leave it the fact that basically I'm just going to have to say, well, although it wasn't disrupted, we decided not to move that unit. So, yeah, that's all I can get out of that. Okay, I think we're up to date. Oh, one last thing. Jim commented back after me maybe... I wasn't making fun, Jim. His comment, and he said it was in jest himself as well when he brought up the rule regarding advanced squad leader and how you're meant to deal with it when there's a mistake and whatever. Fair enough, Jim. I'm glad of that. I'm glad you weren't trying to suggest that I introduced that as the way I should be playing it, because no, that's not really for me. It is for certain situations, and I'll not go deeply into it again, but like I said, I did play, I've played some competition things throughout my life, and the only one I can sort of relate to, which is a board game, card game, Magic the Gathering. I played in some competition stuff like that, and you need these rules, and my guess is that advanced squad leader rule is there for that purpose to, if you were playing with your pal, or most folk, if you're playing with anybody, you'd probably ignore that rule and say, all right, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. That's fair enough. But if you're playing in a tournament or whatever, yeah, there's got to be these rules. I get that. But glad to hear it was just as a joke, Jim. Okay, right, let's move on and... yeah, where are we? Right, let me pause and gather my thoughts. Right, I can't quite sort of just grasp where I am at the moment, so I'm just going to go through the fire sequence again. You'd be glad to hear. So, double orange, but it is the A action. So, it can ambush, and yeah, and this is the situation we had, yeah. So there's no, just looking across the sector, there's no double orange position, occupied orange positions. We've got this one, which is a single, and this one, which is disrupted as a single position too. So there's no occupied double orange. However, we need to, because it's the A, remember it's the A and the R action that don't need a unit in their hex to do stuff. We've got this one here, but 1, 2 is 3 away from a US unit, so that's just out of range. And then this one's a WN position, but this isn't unoccupied, as we've found out, so it's WN anyway, so I don't think it wouldn't have done anything anyway. And then, of course, well, we've got this one here, which is 3 away, fortunately. That's why we moved that guy back from there as well, yeah. That would have triggered that. He's sitting with a diamond, though. I think it's all about the symbol, isn't it? I don't think there's anything in there, but there's nothing within 2. So, but, I think I missed this first. However, let's just move on, Grant. So this is going to happen. This is something that will happen. So, the ambush says, where are we? So the eligible position type is an unoccupied reinforcement position in German communication with US unit in its field of fire. Well, yes, that is the case. This is in the field of fire, and so is this. So yeah, that is an eligible place for it to happen. The ambush action is conducted by an unoccupied German position, represents fire from a reconnoitering, I don't know if I'm saying that right, force or small resistance nest. An ambush is resolved using an ambush column of the fire chart. An ambush hits one US unit with indicate target symbol on a hex in the position's intense field of fire. Well, this is only a unit in its intense field of fire, and it's a circle rather than a triangle. However, the US unit would lose a step. If there are no such units, ambush disrupts one US unit with the indicated target symbol in a hex in the position's steady or sporadic field of fire. And this is where our problem arises, because this guy is a triangle. He is in steady orange field of fire. So he should be getting disrupted. Okay? So that's the situation, and that would finish Orange's turn. That's all Orange would be doing. Okay? So, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to skip by the red for the moment, just so that we can just concentrate on that, because as you can see, there's no double brown. This is a single brown, and brown is only firing. It will hit leaders. This is a single brown, and that's it actually, isn't it? Oh no, there's another single brown up there. So they're both away out of range anyway, but they're single positions. It needs to be a double brown, so we can forget about brown. So we can concentrate on just this ambush and this red R action. So let's look at it. So first of all, the first one we get to, okay, there's a couple way up there that are empty, not within 2, forget about them. There's a WM position there. Now he does have the R action. He's what am I looking for? Yeah, no, they would just fire as well. Yeah, it's only if it's unoccupied WN position that it would consider reoccupying. That's it. Okay, so next one along is this guy. And this is where we have our issue, isn't it? Yeah. So he is a reinforcement position. It is occupied. He does not have US units in his field of fire. I know there's red firing into this hex, but if you see it's on that side of the hex. It's on that hex side, which is pointing to this, and you can see that red's firing steady into there. It's from this position, and that's it. This fire, it's not coming from there, or it would be up in this. The wee symbol would be up here to say that it's coming from that direction. So he's not got US units in his field of fire. So he wants to redeploy 16.3. And this is where we have our issue, because the only redeploy hex turns into be this one, doesn't it? Does it? Yeah, I think so. I think that's where we have the problem. Yeah, the German unit in the position redeploys if an unoccupied reinforcement position in the same sector has US units in its field of fire and is in German communication. If these conditions are met, move the unit and its depth marker, if any, to the empty reinforcement position. If these conditions are not met, the position conducts no action. So This it's empty, it's within German, sorry. I'll show you. So this is the position we're talking about. It's empty, it's got German communication, and it has US units in its field of fire. So this is a consideration. And remember, if it's a VP position, it'll only move to another VP position. And it is a VP position, however, this position is also a VP position. And any of the other hexes around, we looked at them all. None of these have US units in their field of fire. This one does not. You would think it might, but it doesn't. This one does not. No. Even this brown position down here doesn't have. It just fires round about itself. So there's no other option for this redeploy. One of the considerations might have been this one, which I panicked about at first because yes, this is in field of fire. However, the border goes around this. This is actually on the other side, which I'm most chuffed about because I wouldn't have liked it plonking up there. So there's nothing else. There's nowhere else that I can redeploy apart from here. So, no, hang on. Right, sorry, distraction again. So, hopefully, where was I? Right, so we're still trying to work out the ambush and the redeploy. However, there's one other part of this puzzle, and so this is the only hex that unit could redeploy to. However, this unit in red here does not have US units in its field of fire either. So it actually wants to redeploy as well. So there's our problem. In what order do you carry out these? I mean, because if this guy redeploys first, he can't. If this guy redeploys first, then he can't. And also, if the redeploy happens, the ambush will not happen. If the redeploy happens first, if the ambush happens first, which is clearly, if you were on the German side right now, you're saying, right, okay, we're ambushing, then we're redeploying one of these into here. So there's two things I've got to work out: which one of these redeploys, and the order and the ambush and redeploy. So yeah, it's tricky. And the only rule that we have, like I say, it does say you can do them in any order. This is the only rule, and it says, in the rare event, this is sequencing actions, in the rare event that the sequencing of German actions affects play. Well, this does. Even if we're just trying to do the redeploy action. Yeah, we'll get through this. So yeah. In the rare event that the sequencing of German actions affects play, conduct action for the higher number position first. If the same number, conduct the action for the highest letter position first. And the example it gives, if two positions are eligible to perform the reinforce action, and only one reinforcement unit is available, the higher number position would receive the reinforcement. So that tells me that what we're in that position, we've got two positions that are eligible to perform the redeploy action, and there's only one hex to redeploy in, so we should pick the highest number position. Well, that's G2, and this one is, right, it's a blank. So now there's also something, yeah. Well, the only thing I can think about this is, and this actually does call out in the redeploy action. So the third paragraph, the last paragraph of 16.3 redeploy action says, if more than one empty reinforcement position meets the requirements, move to a VP position, then to the lower number position, then to the position where more US strength points in its field of fire. A position with no ID number is considered to be numbered 0 for this purpose. Well, that's when you're moving to the position. So I think all I can take from that is that you do consider these as 0, they don't have a number. that's all I can really go by. Hang on, maybe there's something been asked about that in the past. I went in BGG, but I can't find nothing. So I thought, you know what? Some of these things can be as simple as looking at the front of the rule book somewhere. German reinforcement positions. This is on page 4. These positions may be occupied by German reinforcement units entering during play. Most reinforcement positions have an ID letter number consisting of a zone letter from A to G and a reinforcement priority number from 1 to 11, used to determine when and where German reinforcements appear. Blank reinforcement positions. Okay, here we go. I don't think it's going to tell us. So some reinforcement positions have no ID, for example hex 1014. Such positions may be occupied by a German unit when a tactical reinforcement is triggered or by a German action in the extended game. Yeah, we're not getting it. So the only thing I can take is that they're classed as 0, and when it comes as a letter, then you know what, I don't know. I mean, if we were reinforcing in zone G right now, then that's straightforward. You know, that we've got G4, G5, G7. Now there's a condition, okay, it would be G5 because we're 2 away, but it would go to the lowest number in that situation. But this whole sequence in action looks for, it wants to do the higher lettered position first. So it needs the highest number, and then if it's still, say there's 2 5s, and then it needs the highest letter. If you've got an E and a G, then the highest letter would be a G. Yeah, well, the thing is, the blank reinforcement positions don't need a letter, do they? Because they're going to be zeros. That's all I can take from it. Their number is 0. That's all I can. By all means, tell me what the correct rule is for that. So we're going to class them as 0. So this is a 0, right? And this is a 2. So this is a higher number. So this one is going to get to redeploy. So that's us broken that part down. We still need to now know, does this happen first or... Sorry, I keep pointing up there. It's not anything to do with that orange position. Does the redeploy happen first? Does the ambush happen first? I know what order I would like them done in. I know what order the Germans would like them done in, which is the reverse of my order. But what is the rule? Well, okay. If we come back to sequencing actions, conduct the action for the higher number position first. Well, there you go. This is a 0 and this is a 2. There you go. That's resolved then. So we're broken it down to say that this is the one that will redeploy because it's a 2 and that's a 0. And between the redeploy and the ambush, oh, that's good for me then. The redeploy is going to happen first. I kind of was hoping that, well, part of me is hoping that is the case, but I also feel like it shouldn't be the way it should happen. It bothers me. You know? It bothers me that I'm getting away with one here. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is coming into a bad position for me. However, it's going to happen anyway. So why not do the ambush first? Oh, that's not sitting well. That's not sitting well. Aye. Yeah, I'm still stuck with that, guys. I've rambled on here for 40 odd minutes now as well. I know some stuff that I like to get clear in my head, but I still feel like I've come at the end of it with kind of being stuck. Because, yeah, if I'm going by sequencing rules, as they're calling it, it would benefit me. So I guess I have to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video here. This is long enough to be put up as a part. And please by all means let me know if if I'm doing things wrong here, because that kind of feels wrong. It feels like I'm getting away with something. It feels like I'm manipulating. I'm only just trying to go with what's written there, though there is. I mean, at first I didn't think there was a rule written, and I came to that conclusion at first before I realised about this sequence of action that, when I asked Martin the question, and then I thought, no, wait a minute, Martin, you don't need to tell me the answer to that. I know how it should be. It should be as bad for me as it can be. And as bad for me says that this unit should be disrupted, and then this unit should move into there. That's kind of how I feel like it should be. But then when you find this sequencing actions rule, it's telling me differently. It's telling me that this would happen and then first, and then ambush would not happen. So, well, I'd like your opinion on what I should do, really. I know Martin did come back and say, look, I think you should just go with the sequencing actions. But that's going to benefit me here. So, okay. I'm going to cut it there, but I probably do want to try and play on a bit. This would be the last part of the action phase anyway. So hopefully what I can do is leave a sort of question mark here. Well, you know what I can do? I can move that unit into there, because that's definitely going to happen. Orange fires into there too. That's a point. You didn't have the right symbol. I didn't realise that, because ambush would have went out to there as well. Doesn't go any further, does it? No. That was sporadic into there, but it wasn't. It was a diamond. Though the unit that will be affected will be this. So I need your guys' advice on what you would do here. And you know, if I do it in the way that benefits me, I've got to just stick with that, and I've got to say, well, the sequence of actions tell me that that's how it should be done. It just doesn't feel like if you were on the other side of the table, if you were playing this game as the Germans, you wouldn't do it that way. So, however, there's many a time within Enemy Action Ardennes I played that you could come about a situation where the Germans wouldn't be doing that, and the whole reason I think the main reason that's given is the Germans actually get to, quote, cheat a bit. They get to do things that you're not allowed to do, and it's balanced out in the way that they'll sometimes make some suboptimal, that's a difficult word, suboptimal moves, which if you were in control of them, you wouldn't make them that way. That was fine, because that was specified in the rules. The only thing that's in this is this sequence in actions. So there's nothing more I can take from that. I've just got to go with that. So I'd like to know, anybody that's watching, please give me your thoughts on what you think I should do. If I should stick to what that says in the rules, or if I should override this and, yeah. Because, I want to do this properly. So, and hopefully, okay, I'll maybe not get reply. Well, I'll not get the video up. There is a thought of just maybe chucking that video out there then. I might do that. You know what? I might do that. I might just put this together right now and throw it out there. So this will not be edited at all or reviewed until later, until it's been out there. So there is a possibility of something silly going on that I'll notice when I review it, and then it'll not be fixed. But, well, then we can deal with that all in a one-hour. So if I do that, and then I do get the chance to play on a little bit more, we're moving into the second event card, then the engineer phase, then my action phase, and I'll start over in the east, obviously, as I do. And then hopefully by the time I maybe get over here with my action phase, we can decide what's to be of that. Well, if this unit is disrupted or not. That's the question I want answered. Should this unit have been disrupted by the ambush action? There you go. So nice and simple. Okay guys, I'll leave it for there, and I'll get this one uploaded, and we'll get on with the next event card. Okay, cheers.